What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. The Thunder pretty much controlled this game against the Clippers. There was a brief stretch there in the early third quarter where James Harden hit a couple of step-back threes in a row, and the Clippers ended up going up by one. But the Thunder just immediately regained control of the game, and they were up in by double digits like that after that. And honestly, like, there was just this, I've talked a lot about this concept on the show. I view the perimeter defense battle, like the ability to contain dribble penetration on one end and then to generate dribble penetration on the other end. I look at that as like the push and pull that you see in basketball that most closely resembles what happens in football in terms of line play between the offensive line and the defensive line. Like if a team gets excellent push on the offensive line, and then when they're on defense, if they can get penetration into the backfield, that goes a long way towards making the game easier for every other position group, right? And that's kind of the way I feel about perimeter defense in basketball. And this battle, especially with Kawhi out, I would have loved to have seen Kawhi in this matchup, because one of the best counters for a team that's got really good, quick perimeter defenders is to have a guy that can generate dribble penetration without necessarily having to beat people off the dribble, meaning like the ability to back a guy down into the post. Another thing with Kawhi too is, you know, dribble penetration gaps are easier to shoot through when you have strength. So for instance, like if I make a move and I get my defender to just barely buckle, but I have a strength advantage, I can shoot through that gap with physicality. Whereas if I don't have a strength advantage and I get the defender to buckle just a tiny bit, he can use physicality to regain control of that situation and vice versa, right? So Kawhi just would have been an interesting kind of wrinkle to throw into this matchup, but the Thunder just generally controlled that perimeter defense matchup, which just, that perimeter defense battle, I should say, which led to them getting higher quality shots and them winning. But I want to zoom in on the Thunder side of things on Chet Holmgren for a little bit here, because I thought this was one of his more impressive games as a pro, just from the standpoint of how much they leaned on him to start plays rather than to finish plays. And, you know, Zubac is a good center who I think does a lot of things really well in a traditional sense, in traditional coverages, and, you know, doing a lot of the things that you need a traditional center to do from the standpoint of play finishing, right? But Chet kind of represents in a lot of ways what a modern center is going to look like if we fast forward 20, 30 years, in my opinion. And that's like basically a really tall wing, you know, that can dribble, shoot, and pass with the best of them. And, you know, one of the things that the Thunder realized pretty quickly in this game is like, why would we attack Terrence Mann and Russell Westbrook and Paul George and Norman Powell and all these superior athletes and Amir Coffey and stuff on the perimeter when we have a clear matchup advantage here, which is that Ivica Zubac just has no chance to guard Chet Holmgren on an island, you know? And that's not a shot at Zubac. It's just a reality of what kind of matchup Chet can create. And like, he was just attacking in space, just like they, you know, kind of all space out to the perimeter and give Chet the ball, and he would just make a dribble move and beat Zubac off the dribble. There's this crazy one where he had just beat Zubac to the right side and finished on the right side of the basket in the early third quarter. And then they cleared out the right side for him, and he dribbled left and like faked like he was going to shoot a pull-up jump shot. Zubac jumped, and then he just threw it up off the glass, and he went up and dunked it with two hands. And so one of the things the Clippers did is they put Russell Westbrook on him. And they're basically like, this guy's beating everybody off the dribble. Let's go small and let's just bother his base, right? That's a big thing that I talk about a lot on this show. When you're a defensive player and you don't have a size advantage, you have to attack the base. You can never hope to bother a guy like that up top, because that's where his advantage is in his height, right? And so if I can disrupt the base, like push on their legs or their hips to make it so that when they jump, they don't get the same amount of energy transfer, or to swipe at the dribble pocket or the shooting pocket, like as they're gathering the ball, to try to disrupt that flow up to the top of the shot, that's your best way to do it, right? And so one of the things that they did I thought was interesting is they had Chet set a screen on the ball, get Russ switched off of him, There's a play where he isolates Terrence Mann at the top of the key in a triple threat. And again, like Terrence Mann, super quick athlete, right? You expect him to beat Chet to spots. Chet straight up ripped through and beat Terrence Mann to the right. And then Terrence Mann recovered because he's got great speed, gets back in front of Chet, but Chet was able to get close enough to the rim for him to kind of slow himself down and shoot like an easy bank shot over the top. And we're up to 68 self-creation possessions for Chet at this point in the season. Now that I'm counting as any pick and roll, ISO, or post up, including passes. Basically, if Chet is initiating the action in a half-court set. And out of those 68 possessions, the Thunder have scored 75 points, which is 1.1 points per possession, which is astounding under any circumstances, let alone for a rookie. I think Chet has a superstar, top-tier superstar potential. I'm super, super excited to cover this kid in his career and see what he's capable of. I thought he was amazing last night against the Clippers.